Next government in Winston Peters' hands, as Northland rejects the party leader. Next government in Winston Peters' hands, as Northland rejects the party leader. Election night 2017, New Zealand First Party leader Winston Peters speaks to media and his supporters at the Duke of Marlborough Hotel in Russell. Winston Peters has wrapped up a big night as kingmaker, but the Northland seat that he snatched off National in 2015 is his no more. The people of Northland sent National a message in the by-election when they gave Peters the seat, but it seems he's either not delivered or the mood has shifted, with National candidate Matt King winning on the night. Peters hates being labelled kingmaker, but after he left his campaign party to go upstairs for a quiet whiskey, that's exactly what he would have been toasting to. NZ First leader Winston Peters holds court at the Duke of Marlborough. He leaves his campaign party the Kingmaker. 15 p.m. when some political leaders hadn't even made it to their election headquarters, Peters was done and dusted and had already delivered his thank you speech and a promise to make decisions in the best interests of all New Zealanders. There won't be any calls on Saturday night, or Sunday, other than to Peters' caucus colleagues and board members to decide which way they want to play their cards. The NZ First leader doesn't give anything away on which party he might back in a coalition. "We're not going to be hasty with the balance of power. We're not going to make any decisions tonight or tomorrow," he told the crowd of about 100 guests. Peters had flipped tradition on its head right from the beginning when he showed up in Russell before 7 p.m. and stayed through the night. He said it was important for him to thank his friends and family, and with many of them catching the last ferry back to Pahia about 10 p.m., he was forced to give his speech without knowing all the results. Peters told the crowd that despite the election being the most difficult environment politically speaking seen in 21 years of MMP, the party had come home, not with all the cards, but we do have the main cards. "We're not going to squander that opportunity." Peters has promised a government would be formed before October 12, but he asked his party to be patient and not to make any comments that will embarrass the party before negotiations are finished. "We knew tonight, despite all the predictions, all roads would lead to Russell," he said. The party is set to have 9 seats in Parliament, which was not nearly good enough, but Peters was still expecting the vote to go up once all the results were in. Holding the party's election night bash in Northland was important to Peters to signal to his electorate that the seat mattered to him while all other parties had headed to Auckland. That message seems to have been lost on the electorate though, instead throwing their support back behind National. It wasn't a huge crowd in Russell, and other than MP Tracy Martin and likely soon-to-be MP Jenny Marcroft, there were no other colleagues at the event. Peters' mate Shane Jones hasn't managed to win over the people of Whangarei, but he will enter Parliament on current numbers, giving the leader a possible succession plan if this does end up being his last election. The mood was lively in Russell right from the start of the evening, though Peters was somewhat taken aback when media told him on arrival that former Prime Minister Dame Jenny Shipley was dining only 10 metres away in the restaurant. Peters was quick to point out this wasn't 1996, alluding to the year that NZ First and National formed a coalition together. His partner Jan Trotman was with him, but she evaded the media, and Peters in true fashion had a crack at reporters in his speech. He'll front reporters in Russell on Sunday morning and then head to his home in Wananaki, where he'll spend most of the day on the phone to his caucus colleagues working out his next steps. After the tide went against him on Saturday, preventing him from going fishing, don't be surprised if he takes the opportunity to get out of the water once he's finished all his calls. There's a sense Peters won't drag out negotiations, but it wouldn't be beyond him to stretch it out just long enough to keep people guessing.